Hello guys, welcome to BTech Spark. In this video, I'll explain about Google ADK. Using that, how to create a basic agent to multi-agent. In basic agent, I'll explain these all implementations, how to create a single agent and how to create multi-modal agent with LiteLLM. That is model agnostic, how to create an agent from any LLM provider. And I'm also explain like how to add tools for that agent and how to add memory for that agent. While creating agent, you are going to create session. After creating agent, if you want to access that agent, you need to access that through secured session ID and user ID. How to create a memory for that agent, I'll explain, as well as for the session, whole session, how to create memory, that also I'll explain, as well as I'll explain guardrail for security purpose. This is important. Before model call, how to implement the guardrail whenever a user request, before user request goes to LLM or model, how to implement guardrail, that I'll explain, as well as before tool call, that is whenever a user request to the model, then the request will be sent to the model, then model will use the tools, whatever the tools that model has or that agent has, to respond to the user query. Before using that tool, how to implement this guardrail in between our model and tool, so that also I'll explain in this basic agent session. And in this multi-agent session, I'll explain how to create an agent team, that is a root agent which is controlling some child agents. So let's start it. Before creating this single agent, you need to understood what are the steps that you follow to create this and why do you need to follow those steps in order to create your agent. First step is you are going to create your agent. Why you need this agent? If you want to interact with LLM, then you need to create this agent to interact with that. And in future, you can use that agent for agentic implementation, agentic AI applications implementation. Okay. After this step got completed, that is your agent got created, you need to test that agent, right? Yes. So to test it, you need to connect to it and you need to run or you need to invoke that agent and you need to check the working of that agent, right? Yes. In order to connect or interact with your agent, you require two things. One is this session and this runner. You need to create these two. Why do I require this session, sir? Session is nothing but a secure connectivity to your agent from your application with user ID and session ID. If you enter wrong application or wrong user ID or session while connecting, then it won't connect to your agent. So for secure connectivity, we need, or this session is established. We need to establish this. First, we need to create the session. Then after creating the session, in future, we use this session to interact with our agent. Then why do we need this runner? This runner is actually used to manage agent's execution loop. That is, so initially you create this runner. So while creating your runner, you will specify what application, through what application you are going to connect to your agent. That you will specify. as well as your session. So what session you created for this application to run this agent, what session you created. So that you will attach to this runner. That is, for this runner, you will attach your agent as well as your session. Then after that, you will use this runner in order to interact with your agent through your session details like user ID as well as your session ID. So this is the process that you follow. Now let's do create the agent. In order to create the agent, first you need to install one library. That is, since we are implementing or creating this agent using Google ADK, we first need to install that Google ADK. ADK stands for Agent Development Kit. So you can write this command in Google Colab in order to install your Google ADK. Now, after the installation of Google ADK got completed, you can use that Google ADK dot agents. From this, you can import the agent. Using this agent or the alias of it or the other name of it is LLM agent. So this is also called like this. So this is just another name of it. So don't confuse between these two names. Anything is okay. Now let's create the agent using that agent method. So let's create a base agent. Agent, this is the agent class you can use to create your agents. First, you need to provide what model you want to make use of. Let's say for now, I want to make use of Gemini models like 2.0 Flash I want to make use of. Correctly provide the model name. The required parameters are that name. First, you definitely need to provide. Then you also need to provide the name of this agent. Let's say it's a general agent, general purpose. Here I want to show you one error. So these two parameters are required for creating a base agent. If you create your agent like this, that is with some name and with some model, as you can see, I got some error. That is invalid agent name. The agent name is invalid. So while creating your agent, you need to follow this rule. That is agent name must be a valid identifier. It should start with letter or an underscore and can only contain letters, digits, and underscores. That means, so what's the error in here? We provided the spaces that we need to remove. While creating the agents, this is the major mistake that might happen. So I'm showing you that error as well. Okay, our agent got created with this model, with this name. Now, so in order to use this agent, do we require to provide anything? Yes, we need to provide an API key in order to use this model. So how to provide that API key? You can set the API key using environ variable. That is Google API key I need to provide. This is the prerequisite in order to use these Gemini models, Google models. How or so where it was? This I already saved in my Google notebooks. So if you do not have this API key, then open a new tab and Google Dev AI. So this is the website or Google AI Studio. You can open it and create some new API key from there. The process is you can open this Google AI Studio and click on this get API key so that it will ask you to confirm. That is, you click on it so that it will came to here, and for the first time it will directly show you like create an API key. Since I have already created an API key, it was not showing me again. Or else if you redirected or if you moved back, then click on it, that is create API key, and here you need to create an API key with a new project. So for the first time, it will ask you to create a new project, and inside that project, you are going to create an API key. For me, since I have already created, if I select here, then it will ask me to select one of the available projects. And after selecting the available projects, inside that I can able to create one API key. So like that, you can create an API key and you can use that API key. Remember, this is free. That means you are not going to be charged for some requests. That is, you can see here models are there. Since currently I want to use this Gemini 2.0 Flash, you can just select the model which you want to use, and here you can able to observe rate limits. Free invocations are there. That is 15 requests per minute and 1500 requests per day are free. So up to that you won't be charged. And if the request limit got exhausted, then what happens, sir? I will be charged. No. If the request limit got exhausted, you won't be charged. Reason is that since you are not shifted to billing account, you won't be charged. For billing account, if you want to upgrade, then you need to do it manually from here. That is from your account. You can see here set a billing option is there. If you set the billing option and if you upgrade your plan, then only you will be charged for what you will use for that amount only. Currently, since we are using free account, we won't be charged. That is a number of requests will be considered like a free number of requests will be considered at first. Then if the free request got completed, then our request will be like stopped and we won't get any response, like we'll get a rate limit error after the limitation or after the provided condition got satisfied. That is per day, like request rate limit is there, so that rate limit got whenever you get it, then from then you can able to again request your model. So let's move back to the code. So now in this secrets, I'm saving this saving my Gemini API key, and I just copied this, and you can see notebook access also I just provided. I want to get that. So how can I able to get that is from Google Colab. I just import the user data, and using that user data dot get method, I can able to access my value for this Google API key and set it as an environmental variable, that is Google API key. And I need to import this OS, otherwise I'll get some error like that is not defined. Yeah. So like this, I set I environ spelling is wrong. Yeah. So like this, I set my Google API key so that I can able to make use of this Gemini 2.0 Flash. So this is how in simple you can able to create the agent. Our 1.1 got done. Now, in order to connect to this agent, we require to create two things. One is session and one is runner. So how to create this session and how to create this runner? If you want to create the session service for your application, first you need to import this session. like from Google ADK sessions. You need to import in memory session service. After importing that in memory session service, you can use it. You can use this in memory session service to create this session service. So for what app you are going to create this, that app name first you need to define. Let's say my app name is, it's a demo app. I provided that. And what is your session ID you want to put? Like let's say I want to put session 1, and what is the user you are going to allow? Like what is the user ID? I want to put the user ID as user 1. So this is using this I want to create my session. So if I run this, oh, first we need to create only, yeah, first we need to create this in memory session. I think there will be an error, that is this won't be imported. Yeah, I think the memory spelling memory spelling was wrong. Yeah, so now the session got, that is this is a temporary session we are creating with this in memory session. If you want to create a permanent session, for that also another service is there, you can make use of it. But now let's create this temporary service with some session 1. So I'm creating some session 1 with this session service dot create session method I'm going to use to create. Here you can specify the details like what is the app and what is the session ID and username. You can see with this session service I already created one session. Let's say I want to see those sessions, then you can use this session service dot sessions so that you can see the list of sessions which are, or dictionary of sessions which are already used. Since the session is created but not used, so you can see it's as an empty dictionary. Okay, now we have the session. Now to connect with our agent through this session, let's create a runner with this agent and with this session service. So from where I can able to get this runner, sir? That also present in Google ADK runners. So we're just importing that from Google ADK runner. And let's create agent runner using that runner method, runner class. So in this runner, we need to specify two things. One is the agent. So what is our agent name? Our agent name is base agent. So let's provide that base agent. And using what session service you want to connect with your agent, I created this session service. Let's make it as 1, session service 1. So through this session service 1 I want to connect to my agent, so I'm providing that as my session service. So I provided that, and now if I try to run this, then what it is asking, app name. We need to provide the app name as well. Remember, the app name whatever you provided while creating the session, the same name you need to use. Why I need to use the same name, sir? Because if you use another name, then through this session you cannot able to connect to that app, because that app was not created in that session. Now let's create this runner. You can see now the agent runner also got created with the agent that we created and the session that we just now initialized or created. This session service is having the session that we created. Now let's try to interact with our agent using this agent runner. So how to do that? If you want to interact with your agent through this agent runner, then you can use this run async method. Since it's an asynchronous communication, you are using this run async method. And inside this, you need to specify using what user ID and what session ID and what is the message that you want to send. So these three things are mandatory to connect with your agent using the agent runner that you created. So the user ID that is, this is the user ID that is user one underscore one, and using the session ID that is session underscore one, and the message, this message you need to provide using typing that you can able to get by using this Google dot GenAI. You need to import this types, and using that types you need to define what content you want to send, that you can send as a new message. So let's define the content, like what content we want to send or as a request. Types is having this content to define the content, and inside this content you need to provide few things, like what is the role, currently it's a user, and what are the list of parts that you are going to send. This parts also you can able to define by using this types dot part, and here you can able to provide your message in the form of text. That is your query. The query I want to provide is simply hi. So, and I want to run this. If you run this, then you can see it's an object you are getting. If you want to see the object, then you can get all the events which are present in it and do print all those events to understood what the agent will respond. If you run this, then you will get the error. That is, it's not iterable because it's an asynchronous event. If you want to run this, then you can make use of this async, or you can make use of await. Okay, it's an invalid. The reason is that this await is used for functions, used for asynchronous calls, whereas async is used for, you can see, loops or any methods to get the response from asynchronously. What it is specifying? It is specifying like session one, session not found. Let's see what is the session name that we provided. Session ID is this. So let's copy this and let's paste the same and let's rerun it. Session underscore not found. I think the session was not created. This is also an asynchronous call. So we need to make use of this await method. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, now you can see the session got created. That means we need to make use of this await to until this session got created. After the session got created, let's create the agent runner with that session and our agent. Now let's try to invoke our session with the same user ID as well as session ID with the content. You can see we got the response. This response contains few things. Let me print that event here. Yeah, this contains the content. So let's get that content. This content contains a few parameters like parts. So let's get that parts. Inside this parts also, I have many things, but I only require this text response. In order to get that, so since it's a list, I want to get only zeroth element, so I'm taking that. And inside this also, what I want just text response. I don't want anything, so I'm getting only that text response. So this is how you can able to utilize your runner in order to get the response. That is all. After all your invocations got completed, you can make use of this to get the final response. So let's print it at the end as a final response. So that is this. If I rerun it again, then you can see all the events which are haven't happened and final response you can see I got. Let's say I want to make it as a conversation. So if you want to make it as a conversation, you can make use of this while true, and you can able to get the user input as by using this input variable and enter your query. Enter your query, and after entering the query, I need to check with the endpoint also like breaking as well, right? So if the user input is exit, then I'm going to stop this conversation. Otherwise, I'll just continue this conversation. I'm just running it. You can see I am providing. Yeah. So for this is the response. So who are you? So like this, I provided the message, and it has some. The request will be sent to this model, and we'll get the response back. Hi, how can I be a service? Okay. So explain me the AI. I think it's not working for our query, like it is taking only high. So let's see. Yeah, we are providing only user query. We are not taking the user input that we just created. So let's stop this. Or let's write this exit to make this execution stop. Yeah, so this got stopped. Now we can provide like here the query is whatever the user input that he provided that I want to provide as a query. So I'm assigning the query as user input. So let's run it. Let's say hi. So who are you? So I'm a LLM large language model trained by Google. So tell me or explain me in short. Explain me in simple. What is AI? Yeah, you can see AI is an response. AI or artificial intelligence is basically making computers think and act like humans. Wow, it provided me the response. So let's stop this conversation. So this is how we can able to create a basic agent, and we can able to interact with that agent like by using the session and by creating the session and by creating the runner. Now the first task, that is single agent creation, was done. Now let's make this code suitable for any LLM provider, that is model agnostic. Let's say I want to make the same code suitable for any LLM, not for only Google LLMs. For that, first you need to install LiteLLM, Lite hyphen LLM. So I'm just rerunning it. I think no matching. I think there will be no space. LiteLLM you need to install. So I'm just removing the space. LiteLLM. It will take a moment to get installed. After, yeah, after that gets installed, you can import something, that is from Google ADK. You need to import this LiteLLM from Google ADK models dot light underscore LLM. You need to import this light LLM. Using this, you need to create or you need to define your model. How to define it, sir? By using this light LLM, you need to provide your model name here. Let's say I want to make use of Grok, or I want to make use of Hugging Face model. You can first check with the providers this light LLM will support. For that, I'm opening this official documentation of this light LLM. Here you can observe like whatever the below providers are there, for all those providers this light LLM will support to integrate. Since we want to make use of Grok, you can select this Grok so that you can make use of it. So first you need to specify the key, and like this you can specify your model. I'm just copying this name and pasting the same name here, or do anything got missed? Yeah, so the same name paste. We need to provide it within a string, and so let's comment this and let's provide the model here. Like model name, let me put, let me change it to model name. Since I want to make use of this Grok model, so let's run it. Since I want to make use of this Grok based model, I need to provide the Grok API key also, right? Yes. So that also I'm providing here. So for what environment will variable I need to provide that. Here you can see Grok API key is the environmental variable that you make use of or provide. And for that also I've created a API key, that is this. So I want to make use of this. So I'm copying this and pasting the key here. So through this you can able to get the key, and I'm just running this. So now I want to, yeah, I want to again, since my new model got loaded into this base agent, I need to rerun this, or I need to create a new session again and initialize one session inside this session memory. And if you see, the session got created, and I'm creating the runner for a new app with this agent, with my base agent, where this base agent will hold now the new model, that is a Grok based model, and the session that we just created. Now let's do interaction. Like let me provide hi, and let me ask who are you. You can see, I think it provided some lengthy answer. Tell me who are you in short response. Here you can see I am a general purpose agent. So this is nothing but whatever the description or whatever the model name that we provided that it is taking, and a computer program designed to understand and respond to human language in in a helpful and informative way. Who, let's ask some question like who created you, whether it will reveal that or not. I am created by lang 8 language and a platform. So again it is providing a long response. In small response, tell me who created you. mm, lan8 community created this model. From this I can say we are able to interact with Grok model. Yes, we are able to interact with this Grok model. So let's exit, or let's stop this chat. So it got exited. Now I want to make use of Hugging Face model as well. So for that I'm opening the, you can say, this LiteLLM documentation, and here since I want to make use of Hugging Face, I'm just opening the Hugging Face option. Here you can see, let's see like how the name was provided. The name was like this. So let's copy the name and let's paste it in our model, like in our method to load this DeepSeek model, or let's make use of latest DeepSeek model. The latest DeepSeek model is, or let's move back to Hugging Face models to see the latest DeepSeek model, and we can make use of that model for request and response. You can see this is performing equivalent to O3, that is O3 mini, that is the latest OpenAI model. This model is a DeepSeek R1 0528, the best reasoning model. I'm just copying now. It released a few days back, and from here you need to provide like the provider and the model name. I'm just entering it so that this got loaded. And in order to load the credentials, you can make use of this, that is this. For what, you can see this HF token, we need to load this environmental variables. So let's open this and let's again do the same thing. For what, for HF token, yeah, I just copy it again and paste the same. For Google or for Hugging Face also, I have created already an API key that I'm using, that is this test Hugging Face, and I'm providing that, or I'm providing my API key through this. Let's load this API key, and after loading the API key, let's create the session again, and that is let's initiate the session, create the session, and let's try to create the runner with our base agent, that is this a newly created agent DeepSeek R1, and with that session, and let's run this. So let's provide a hi. You can see this is how the model response was. Let's ask a question like what is AI, or explain me AI, or AGI. Now the latest technology is AGI. In AI stream, or in AI branch. So let's ask it to explain some what is AGI in AI stream. So it's taking a moment of time. Since it's a deep thinking model, it will provide us the response in a better way. Till it is running. So let's wait. May the inference take some time. Yeah, you can see. Now we got the response. So what is AGI? It covered like AGI. In AI, it's like human compatibility, like core idea of AGI it's covered, and constraints between narrow AI versus AGI it's covered, key challenges and progress and debates it covered, and why AGI matters also it covers. You can see it's an impressive response. Like I just asked it to explain AGI. It covers like most enthusiastic and what are the things that I need to know about AGI. All was explained by it. So let's exit the chat. Okay. So now we can able to interact with Hugging Face models as well. Like that, you can make use of, or you can integrate with any of the cloud provider models, and you can able to interact with them to make your agent to be agnostic, model agnostic. For any model, you can able to use with this light LLM. Now let's make use of the normal, that is this, that is Gemini 2.0 Flash with this, because this will provide me like more number of requests and responses, so I'm making use of it. So now we covered two things. One is single agent creation we have seen, and multimodal agent we have seen, that is model agnostic way how to create an agent, that also we have seen. Now let's see how to add tools to our single agent. If you want to add tools to your agent, so you have two approaches. One is the built-in agents are there, and another one is you can make your custom agent. So I'll tell you both, like built-in agents how you can able to add, and custom agents how you can able to build. Or the another approach is you can make use of third-party tools as well. Like you can make use of Crew AI provided tools and LangChain related tools as well. For now, I'll show you like how to make use of built-in tools as well as custom created tools. To make use of built-in tools, first you need to import the tools from Google ADK tools. Let's import one of the built-in tool, that is Google search. So this is already predefined and implemented, and there are currently less number of built-in tools, like two are there. Among this is the one, and this is also works well mostly with this model, that is Gemini models, that is Gemini 2.0 Flash especially it works well. So I'm making use of this search tool with this agent. If you might use like other models, then it might not work. So that's one of the flaw if you use this built-in tools. And while using the built-in tools like this, you can define your list of tools inside your agent to make use of your tools with that agent. So while using your tools, I want to provide some description about the agent or about the tool and its working to this while defining this base agent. So if you want to make, like if you want to provide that, then you have description. Using this description, you can provide some description about this agent to this. Like I want to tell you are a good searching tool agent, like you are an agent to answer questions using this Google search. And like this is the process you can follow, or these are the steps that you can follow, that also you can able to specify using instructions. using instructions, you can able to specify them. For Google search, you can make use of the tool, and for normal answers, you can make use of your intelligence or provide in that context, like agent context. I can answer your questions by searching the internet. Just ask me anything. So let's run it. So what's the issue that we are facing? One validation error, extra forbid done. Extra inputs are not permitted. I think it's an instruction, not instructions. So yeah, it's an instruction, not instructions. Okay, now I defined this agent with this built-in tool, that is Google search. We imported it from Google ADK tools. And so let's again initiate the session, and let's create the runner with the base agent with a tool. And this session service, let's ask it, hi, hello. Okay, we got some response. Who are you and who are you? So let's ask like this. I'm a LLM, like conversational, I think a large response. What can you able to do? So let's ask question like this. Mm, you can say answering your questions, general difference, creativity, summarization. So it provided its ability. Let's ask some question like today price fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. So let's ask it. Let's see what happens. You can see, so it provided me a detailed response. Let's see whether tool was invoked or not. I think it was or not. So this is our question, and this is the model content, and this is the response. So I think only one content is there. So I think this is a direct response, I think. So let's ask what tools you have. What tools you have. Mhm. I have access to few tools. The primary one is that mm, I use to answer your questions in search engine. Yeah, it has this searching capability. So use browser and answer me the trip price. If I travel from Hyderabad to Tirupati. Yeah, it provided me the response. Mm, I think still, since it's a Google based model, it directly providing me the response by searching. Let's say directly like use browser tools and answer for this. Mhm. I think it's a pre-built one, so I think it's using it. You can see for tomorrow it providing me the directly like a response. That means it is making use of that search tool, like flight cost it provided, train cost it provided, and bus related costs as well as important notes also it provided. So let's exit this conversation, and you have seen like how to make use of a built-in tool to interact with your agent. Now I'll also specify you, or I'll also tell you how to define your custom tool. So let's define some verb search, mm, website searcher or Wikipedia searcher. Wikipedia searcher, and it will receive the query and it will respond to my query. It will return some response. Or I want to make use of a DuckDuckGo search that present in LangChain community tools. Let's import this DuckDuckGo DuckDuckGo search run method, and let's make use of this and invoke with this query to get the response. Website searcher, and let's make use of this and invoke the browser with the query, and whatever the response it will get, and that I'll return. The same web searcher I'm taking and providing here. So here I want to tell you some, like, I want to tell you some important thing. So I think I need to install the dependencies like LangChain community and DuckDuckGo search I need to install. Okay, let's run it again. So here I want to specify one point, that is here you can see I have defined two tools, right? Now I try to again initialize the session, create the session and create the runner, and let's do conversation like hi. You can see what is the error that you get. Failed to parse parameter query for function web searcher for automatic function calling. Automatic function calling works best with simpler function. Okay, we need to define the schema whenever we are defining our custom tools. That is, here what is the input our method is taking and what is the output it is providing. Since the query is string and output response is also string, I am providing like this. So let's recreate this session and let's rerun it. So let's provide I. So again we got the error. What is that? Tool use with function calling is unsupported. That is, this error why do you get is since you are using one inbuilt tool and one custom tool, right? Yes, so that's why you're getting this error. You cannot use like this. You can make use of more than one custom tools as well, like you are defining tools, but you can make use of only one built-in tool, not more than that. So if I running it, that is it. I remove the built-in tool and I run it, and I again create the session. Let's try to run it. You can see I got the response. That means it can able to accept, that is, it can able to run with the custom tool. Now let's ask, like, what is the trip fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati? Let's ask, let's add today as well. I cannot able to provide. Let's ask what tools do you have? I have access to search engine that can able to search with the internet, right? I think it can make use of it and search and can able to answer me, right? So let's ask it again. Let's ask the same question again. Mm-hmm. So let's provide this and use your tools. Use your tools to answer me. You can see it was making use of the tools. You can see here. So if you see the content, like function call is happening to what? To this to this built-in tool, that is web searcher that we just defined with this query, that is a trip fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. After that, this is the tool response. Like our web searcher provided this response. Based on that, this is the model content, or this is the like refined version of the response based on that knowledge. And based on that knowledge, it provided me the response. You can observe that from here. Through this, we can say like we have added like built-in tools, like custom tools as well to our model. That means this third one is we have done single agent with tool also we have added. Now let's move on with memory. Now let's move on to the fourth, that is how to create or how to add memory to our agent. Let's first start with session memory. So how to add uh, memory to the session. To add memory to the session, so while creating session, so where is our session? Let's start from starting. That is, let's try to run this. Our model creation was done. Then, so here we initialized the session. Now here we created the session. While creating the session, remember this is the variable, that is state. For this, you can create the memory. Through this, you can able to create the memory. Like here, you can able to provide a dictionary where this dictionary can able to hold some data. You can think of it like a memory. This state will hold some memory for this session. Let's say I want my, since we have searching tool, like you can put number of searches, or let's take some state, that is language. Like I want to make it English. Yeah. So now in this memory, I stored language. In this session memory, I stored the language. Before storing this state, do I have any state memory here? No. Do I have any events here? No. So if I run this, you can see in the state, like if you see session service dot sessions, under that you can able to access this state. That is whatever the session memory that you just created, that will be visible here. You can able to access that from here, and you can able to manually modify it as well by using dot, that is so first what you will put is app name. So I'm just copying the app name, or so let's try to, so you have seen like how to add session memory, that is here you can able to add. And in order to access it outside, after adding, I'll show you access, then I'll show you how to update as well. So after adding, I've shown you like here this is one way. Using the sessions dot sessions, you can able to access, or else you can also access this data inside your functions as well, like by using a tool context, that you can able to access from Google ADK tools. You can import this tool context. You can see this is that, and from this you can able to import tool context. And so while calling the tool, you can mention that tool context variable will accept this tool context as input, tool context as input. Now, whenever this tool is calling, during that time, what model will do, or what this model or agent will pass is, this will pass the query along with the tool context. Now, based on the context, let's say if the context is like language, I'm taking the context, right? Yes. So take let's take the language that is from the tool context I want to take. How to get that is by using this tool context dot. So at where we saved this in this state variable. So directly we can able to access this state from this tool context. State of. So what is the variable name that we put? That is this language, right? So we just copy it and we can make use of this here, like paste it here. So for this query, so let's add some custom code like str of mm, in language, that is this language. So whatever the language that is present in that language, I want to do search of my query. So like that, I provided the language. Like I'm accessing the language from my tool, and I am using that while performing web search. So let's run this and let's check the response. I'm running this runner, so that a runner will be created, and now I'm running this. Hi, I'm searching. Now I'll search fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. So I'm running it. You can see after searching in what language I got the response, in English. And even from my tool, you can see this is a query that was sent to the tool, and that tool result as well, it is in English language only. Let's say I want to make change. So let's stop this. Let's type exit so that this will be stopped. Okay. So now I want to, since I can able to access this, that is this language from here, I want to change the language. Like currently I'm getting in English. So I want to check the variation, like the language to be in other. Like let's take Telugu. That you can able to directly change from code as well. Now I'm taking this sessions. If I run this, then you can see what are the sessions that were happened. Those all are visible. In this sessions, what I want is, I just want this demo app. I want to see only the memory part. So I'm providing this demo app. With this demo app, these many sessions were happened. For this user underscore one, what are the sessions happened? That content I want. That also I have accessed. For this session one, session underscore one. So what are the sessions happened? I want only those sessions. You can see these many sessions were happened. Those all sessions will be recorded, and you can see those all will be visible in this session. Every conversation will be stored and visible here in this session. In this also, what I actually require is this state, nothing but my memory, right? Yes. Dot state. So if I run this, then I can able to observe the state is English, right? Yes. So I'm just copying this and pasting that here, and providing the language as Telugu here, and I want to rerun this. Now you can observe the language got changed. Uh, I'm not manually edited here, but you can see here based on this, I just changed this to Telugu. Like by accessing it through the session service, I just changed it or I modified it in real time. You can able to modify this session state like this from here and make use of that session state on top of your tools. I'm running it so that this web searcher will be loaded with the language that is Telugu. And if you then I want to again create the session. Okay, whenever I create the session, then again the name got changed. So let's run it so that the session state got changed to Telugu. Then even you can check that state. Yeah, it's changed to Telugu. And now you create the runner app. And if you try to ask the questions, then we can now expect the answers to be in Telugu because we added the query that is in Telugu for the search. So I hope we may get the results in Telugu. Fair from so now you can observe the result query is this and the result is this. Okay. Mhm. Till the result is in English, I think it is not observable. So let's make one more example so that you can able to observe it. I just stopping this. So let's make what language I'm using or what temperature or so let's take some format that is like degree Celsius. Let's take and let's define one more custom function to identify the difference. Let's define one more function that is mm, temperature or you can say weather temperature where this agent will take the two things same like it will take the query or it can take the city name and tool context. So based on that it will return the response. Mm, from this, let's say the format, let's try to access from the tool context dot state. After accessing the format, if format is double equals to degree Celsius, then uh, let's try to return 27 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, or you can say if the format is anything else other than this, then let's try to return 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's assume like that. And let's add this tool as well to our tools. I have told you right, like we can able to add multiple built-in tools to a same agent, but more than one. We can able to add multiple custom tools, but we cannot able to add more than one built-in tools. So let's understood that as well whether it is working or not. I have loaded this with this tool as well, and let's again initiate the session, and let's add the session, and so let's see the session state. It's a degree Celsius, and now what I'm expecting is I want to create the runner. and let's start this. Okay, I think this got mistyped. Okay. Hi. Now I want to ask a question like mm, temperature. Temperature in Hyderabad. So like that I want to ask the question. You can see it just called. You can say it just called the method. This weather temperature method is just called, and you can see it got the result like degree Celsius. That means can I say it accessed this? That is, yeah, the format it accessed, and the format is double equals to Celsius. So that's why we are getting this result. Now what I'm expecting is I want to change the state of this format to I want to change the state of this format to degrees Fahrenheit. Like in this format, I want the response to be. So that's why I'm changing this. Before changing the state, first I want to see the state. I think we need to stop this. Let's type exit. Yeah, you can see it's degrees Celsius. Let's rerun. Yeah. So now I'm changing it into Fahrenheit dot that is Fahrenheit. If I run this, then you can see it changed it to F that is Fahrenheit. Now I'm creating the runner again and rerunning it. Hi. Same question like what is temperature at Hyderabad? Now you can able to observe it is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That means whatever the tool response that it is returning is 100 degrees F. That means it can make or it can able to access the content inside the tool. So from this what we can able to say is we have created session memory and we accessed that session memory outside or normally, and we even set that session memory, then we accessed that session memory inside our tool call using this tool context, and in this way we implemented this session memory. I think from this example we can able to observe the change or observe the axing of this session memory. Now I want to add agent memory as well. So how to add this agent memory, sir? Before adding the agent memory, I want to show you one thing to observe the changes. So first, let's run this state, or to run that, we need to stop it, I think. Yeah. So let's exit this. Yeah, this got stopped. Now, let's check what are the contents which are present in this state. You can see only foreign it is there. Now, I'm adding the memory to this agent. So how to add this memory to this agent, sir? To add memory to this agent, you just put output key while defining your agent, and you define or you initialize this output key like I want to tell it like agent memory. With this agent memory, initially this session in this session state that will be created. So currently it won't be visible to you. I'll start the conversation. After the conversation, you can able to observe that I'm creating this runner again and running this. So let's provide high. What this agent memory will remember? This agent memory only remember the last conversation result. Last conversation result. It will remember in the memory, agent memory. Now I have typed high, right? Then if I ask like, so let's exit this so that what is the last message? That is this. If I run this, that is if I see the state, you can able to identify the agent memory remembering last response. If I run it and if I ask it hi, and then if I ask it what is 2 plus 3, it will only remember this last final conversation. Again, I'll show you. You can see only the last response will be, it is remembering in this agent related memory. That is this. From this, we have observed two things. That is memory. Agent memory we observed, as well as session memory also we have observed. Now, let's move to the memory concept is done. Let's move to the next concept, that is guardrail. How to implement this guardrail, sir? To implement this guardrail, you have two options. You can implement this before model calling or after model calling, but before tool calling. Model have tools, right? Before tool calling, you can able to implement that as well. So first, I'll show you how to implement before model calling. Before this model calling, how to implement this guardrail. So to implement this guardrail before model calling, inside your model call itself, inside your agent definition itself, you can define that. So anywhere you can able to define. Now I'm defining that here. So here you can provide like before model call. Before model call back. Before model call back, I want to implement some method. Let's take the same name to remember that method belongs to this. Like F1 is the function that I want to implement before model calling. So I'm just taking it and let's define this method here. Before model calling, I want to implement this, where this method will check is there any is there any guardrails or is there any user request that I want to check and block. So those you can able to define from here based on the user message or user request. How can I able to get that a user request, sir? You can able to get that LLM related request that you get using Google ADK model LLM request. From this you can able to import this LLM request. Using you can define that LLM request from here, that is LLM underscore request, and the type is LLM request. Like this you can able to access the LLM request. And remember one more thing I want to specify here is that, so for any model callback, you need to specify three parameters here. One is LLM request and another one is callback context. You need to specify this. Like these two you need to specify. These two parameters are definitely required. If you not specify any parameter, it will show you the error while running this. How to define the type of this callback, sir? This callback type you can able to define by using Google ADK agents dot callback context. You can able to import this callback context and you can able to define the type of it here. Callback context. And what is the output? The output is it's an optional. That means you can able to return none as well, or else you can return LLM response as well. So when do you return what? I'll specify. I'll tell you. How do you get this optional? This optional is also a keyword. You can able to get it from this typing. Optional LLM response you will return. LLM response. So from where this LLM response, this type you will get. This type is same like LLM request. You can able to get it from Google ADK model. LLM response is there. From there you need to import this data type, LLM response type. Okay. So when do I use what? Let's say in my LLM request, in my LLM request, if there will be any violating content, I want to block that message that you can able to implement here. And let's say if the request is good, I can just pass that request and get the response from my LLM. Then you can able to return none. So when do I return none? If I want to pass my request to model, then you can use this return as none. Or else if you want to stop the request, then you need to implement or then you need to return something response like LLM response. You need to return some LLM response in order to block or in order to stop the request sending to your model. When do you stop? I'll stop when the requested content is violating the rules, or let's say uh, if the requested content is wrong, like any block content is there, then I want to block it. If LLM, so how can I able to check the content is blocked content or not? First, let's check LLM request contains content or not. If that contains content, then let's take the content from back, because latest content always stored at the end. So that's why in reverse I am taking this LLM request dot contents. In LLM request, actually that list contain user request as well as model response also. I want only user request, right? Yes. So from that content, the role the role is user. I'm only taking those, and content parts also contain text. So then only I'm taking it. User request will definitely contain text. So I'm just verifying those two things, like if the role is user or not, and that contains text or not. I'm just taking that type of content. And so in that text, what I need to do, I need to check right whether that blocked content is present or not. So if any travel related request is there, I want to block it. For now, let's say I want to block travel related request. So in the if travel is present in content.parts.text, then what I will do is I'll return the response, that is blocked response I'll return. Where this response will contain content. How do I define the content? You have previously also defined the content once, that is while requesting from Google dot GenAI. You imported typing, and using the typing we can able to define, or you imported the types, not typing. Using the types, we have content is there, and inside this content you will define what role it is. Since it is a model response, you will provide the model and parts. This model response will contain parts, right? So it's a list of parts. So how to define these parts? By using this types dot part, we can define each and every part. This contain text of what response this model will return. Mm, I want to return like travel is keyword present in the request. So content response is blocked. So this is the message which will be returned. Now I'll run this. That means now before model call, this function will be called and you'll get the response. I'll again define this session and let's try to run this. Hi. So what I put, which type of content I'm blogging? Travel. So let's mention that travel fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. You can see what response I got. Travel is a keyword present in the request, so the request is blocked. It even not sent to the model. First, it directly sent to the function, and you can see that's got blocked. That's the response I got. If I'll ask the question like fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati, no travel is included. Like I think it just taken the travel as input. Okay, this request is related to travel, so that's why it just got blocked. Let's ask some more question like what is Tirupati famous for? I think it's not taking the request. Let's exit this and let's restart the session. Hi. Mm, the request is blocked. I think previous conversation session is still present. So let's stop this through exit. Let's create a new session by running this. And let's type hi. You can see the searching is happening and you can see I got the response. Tirupati is famous for something, that is Sri Venkateswara Swami temple. And let's ask fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. So here I haven't mentioned like travel. Now I'll ask the same question but travel before the request. I'm mentioning travel and I'm mentioning the fare from travel fare from Hyderabad to Tirupati. Let's see response. You can see travel is the keyword which is present, so the request is blocked. So I can say the modal request, even LLM request was not sent, it got blocked. We're getting this response. Through this, you can able to block the or guardrail the user request based on the keywords or anything. By implementing this function, what is that? Before model callback, you can able to include this to stop the request. I want to exit this. Yeah. So now I want to implement. I've shown you like before model calling. I've shown you how to block the request after model calling, but before tool calling. Where is the tools? So here two tools are there. One is search tool, one is temperature tool. Right? Yes. Before tool calling, let's say I want to implement guardrail. Before going to that, I want to mention 2 points. One is if the request is not containing or if the request is not containing this travel, that means whatever the keyword that you blocked, then you can see the request, the return type is none. So the request, whenever you return none from this model callback function, it will pass the request to the model. Whereas if you return the LLM response directly, it does not pass the request to the model. That means you are directly blocking the request. This is how you can able to use the use before model callback to guardrail the user request before passing to the model. Now I want to pass the request to my model, but I want to stop. before tool calling. So to stop this before tool calling, you can implement this before tool callback. So here also you can able to implement a function where this will run before calling the tool. I'll show you def this function you can able to implement. If you if you return none from this function, then what happens is the tool calling will be happen. Or else if you return after checking, if you return something like status is error, then what happens is your tool calling won't be happen, and your tool call won't be happen, and your request will be stopped here. So after status you need to specify some error message as well. Let's say if the request contains Tirupati, I want to block such request. If the request contains Tirupati, then I want to block such requests. Or so first we need to define few arguments here. If you not define the arguments here, then it will provide you the error like that or that argument is not defined. Here you need to define tool as base tool type. This base tool you can able to import from Google ADK tools dot base tool. You can able to import this base tool, and you also need to define arguments where these arguments are used to pass, like for this tool calling these arguments are using, so that you can specify through this. And tool content also you can able to tool context also you need to define. This you have already previously imported, that is tool context. So let's import it again. Yeah, you can observe that here, that is a tool context we previously imported. Once importing is enough. If you would like to see that just before the function, then you can type. So no worries about it. And in the error message you can able to include like what messages you want to include. For the first I want to pass each and every request, and after that I can able to change the code and show you like what error you will get, how the error will look like. Currently this is returning none. That means I'm accessing or I'm passing all my requests to tool. To where? To tool. Tool call. So I'm not blocking anything, I'm just passing the request to the tool call. So I'm just running it. I think I got some error. Okay, I haven't provided any return type. I need to mention that as well. And even dictionary is also not defined. From typing we need to import this dictionary type, and we need to specify what is the type of response that we are returning. Even not expected, or if you not pass also it's okay. Okay, let's run this. I'm creating one more in memory session and running this. So let's say hi. Now let's do like a tool calling like mm, what is temperature at Hyderabad. Mhm. So Could you please specify which Hyderabad you're referring to? At Wipro Circle? Mm-hmm. Temperature at Hyderabad. Yeah, now the tool call happened, and you can see I got the temperature as 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That means the tool call is happening now. Why the tool call is happening? Since we haven't provided any checks here for before tool call, and you can see this is not blocking. This model call is not blocking, as well as this is not blocking, so that's why we are getting the response correctly. Let's say I want to block it at here and return the response like, so what is the tool name, or I want to stop the response. In return to this, I want to provide like a tool name, the parameters I want to show. For this, the response I want to put like a tool name as tool. Tool is the argument that is passed to it. Using that, you can able to get the tool name, and you can able to get the arguments as well using this args, but that arguments are quite large, so I'm just commenting this, or I don't want to show right now what are the arguments that are passed to this. Now I want to show you like tool agent name, or you can say agent name I want to provide. This agent name you can able to get using this tool context. Tool context dot agent name will provide you that agent name. So I'm just running this. In return, it will so whenever tool call is happening, in return it will result in error by providing the tool name and tool agent name. We will observe that in tool function calling now. So let's run the section. Let's say hi. Mhm. Now you can observe function call is happening, and you can able to see the response from the function call like this. You can say this weather temperature is a function name, and city is passing as an argument, and you can see whatever the response that you're getting, that is status is what error, that is this is the response from our tool callback. Whatever the tool callback function that we defined here, that is returning the response, that is it is blocking, and it is blocking the tool call and returning its response. In this way you can able to guardrail the tools before, that is the arguments you can able to check what are the arguments which are passed by the model and which are passing to the tool. Those you can able to check, and you can able to block specific requests to your tools. Here you can able to observe like a tool name it is providing correctly, and agent name also it is providing correctly, like general purpose agent. This is what we defined as a tool, that is agent name and tool name. Now I can say this is also working well. I'm just exiting to stop this. So in this way, I hope you observed this before model callback how to implement the function to guardrail, and before tool callback how to implement the function to guardrail. Those details I hope you understood. So let's comment this out in order to return the response as a none for now, for this as well as this, like that is we are not blocking anything, or simply we can able to comment out these two in order to remove any blockings are there like guardrails. So from this we can say we have seen this concept as well, that is guardrails concept as well we have seen right now. Now we have implemented all these, that is basic agent related implementations. Now let's move to this multi-agent implementation. Agent team, let's implement, like root agent will implement and child agents also will implement. So let's take the current example. We are having two functions we have. So for each and every function, what I'm expecting is I want to define two child agents, one for web searcher, one for web searcher I want to create, and one for this weather temperature agent I want to create. So let's take this base agent for the reference, and let's provide it two times, and let's modify it to create these two agents. So one for this web search and one for this weather temperature. Let's take this as web search base agent, and this for weather, one for web search base agent, and one for weather weather base agent, where this web search agent will do web search and provide me the response. So agent, let's provide the name like web search agent, and let's provide the name of this as weather reporting agent. And so it can able to answer the questions for by searching the internet, and I can able to answer the questions by checking the weather reports. Just ask me anything. Okay. So what does this web search agent will require? What tools it require? It require web searching tool. So I'm providing only that and removing this weather searching agent. Uh, Whereas for this, what I require only weather temperature tool. Since it's a weather based agent, I'm providing only this as tool, and I'm removing the web search. So why we need to implement like this many agents? Like for each and every tool, why we need one agent? If we provide one tool for one agent, then what happens is this agent will make use of that tool and becoming a specialist in that particular task, and can able to provide the output in a much more efficient manner than a single agent with multiple tools. So like that's why we are making use of these many tools. Let's say this is one child and this is one child, and now I want to create a root agent, that is this. I want to make it as a root agent. Let's say this is the root agent. For root agent I want to provide the base agents, right? Yes. Let's say I want to comment out this tools, and I want to provide sub agents. Here you can define like sub agents. These sub agents will specify what are the sub agents for this root agent. This root agent orders was followed by this sub agents. Like it can able to pass the control to these tool agents, so that that is this tool agent or this tool agent, so that they can able to work on that particular task. What are the two tool agents I have? One is weather base agent I have, and web search agent I have. Web search, so is the name is correct? Yeah, web search base agent is the another agent. Like this, you can provide two base agents as sub agents to the root agent, and simply remembering output at the end of this root agent is enough. Like last memory it will remember. For this, I think it's not required. For these two base agents, it's not required to remember the memory. So now we are creating a root agent with two sub agents, one agent for web searching, one agent for weather report providing. And for this root agent also, let's change the name, general purpose agent, agent to answer questions using web search agent, and weather reporting agent. I can answer questions by implementing searching through web search agent, base agent, and weather reports by weather base agent. So like this we define the instructions. Now I'm running this so that our two base agents, whatever the base agents that we created, same like in the same way how we defined the agent, in the same way we defined the two base agents, but the only thing we added here is, here sub agents, we added these two base agents. Now I run this so that our root agent got created with these two base agents. Now I'll initiate the session, and so take some session or create this session, and let's create this runner. And okay, using what we are creating this runner is using the root agent, we are creating this runner. Where is the root agent? Yeah, this is the root agent. Using that we need to create the runner. And so let's run this. Hi. So let's ask Hyderabad temperature, so that you can observe it is providing 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That means it can make use of function calling. First, what happens? Agent name, that is a weather reporting agent. It just forwarded the request or transferred the request to this agent. Uh, Our root agent transfer the request to this agent, and this agent, and then this agent, what it will do is it will perform some tool calling that you can able to observe here, like weather temperature is the tool it is using, and calling for the city Hyderabad that we passed in the request, and this tool is providing the result. And the tool request, you can see, mm, based on the tool response, it will provided the mm, end final response, and you can see that is the final response. Let's say I want to search for web for Hyderabad to Tirupati fair. You can see now, you can able to observe that. Mhm. Yeah, so it provided the final response. But tool calling, you can able to observe here. hmm So first, it will transfer to general purpose agent. That means currently it's present with the weather, like weather reporting agent. So it again pass it back that request to general purpose agent. Then this general purpose agent will again transfer it to web search agent. That request will be transferred to web search agent. You can observe here. Then in the web search agent, mhm, if we observe clearly, you can see this web searcher function is called with this query. Then whatever the result that we got from that query, based on that, that specialist is providing concise answer, or you can say specialized answer from that response. You can see that is this. From this, I can able to say that The root agent, whenever I ask regarding the temperature, the root agent successfully passed the request to the weather reporting agent. Whereas if I asked related to any search related query, the request again passing from that weather reporting agent to the default root agent, and from the default root agent to the searching agent. Since it's a searching query, it just passed to the search agent. Then I'm getting the response from that search agent. So can I say those three agents are working as a team? Yes. And providing the entire response? Yes. So based on the type of request, they are just transferring it to respective agent and providing me the response. So I'm just exiting this. I'm just stopping this. Okay. So this is how you can able to create a multi-agent system. We have created web search agent, weather reporting agent, and we added those two as sub-agents to the root agent, and we created runner session as well as a runner for that root agent, and we run that. We checked the interaction, or you can say team work, agent team. We have seen like agent teamwork we have seen. So that means I can say multi-agent working also we have seen. So in this session, I hope I covered the basic agent implementations, like how to implement single agent by using a Google ADK, and multimodal agent by using a LiteLLM, and agent with the tools, how to implement, and agent with memory, how to guardrail the request before model call itself or before tool call itself. That is after model call, before tool calling. How to implement this guardrail, you have understood, and you have also understood how to create agent team with a root as well as multiple child agents. So that's all about this session. I hope this video is useful to you. If you feel really this video is useful to you, then please like and encourage me, and provide your comments in the comment section so that I can able to consider them for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to get much more valuable content like this. Thanks for watching again. See you back in the next video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye guys.